Welcome to another episode of New Jersey Mat Chat. I'm Pete, and this is Doug, and today we have a great episode with Killian Coluccio and his coach, Justin Bonitatis.
Yeah, Killian Coluccio is just a must-watch, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Check out this episode. Let's get into it.
New Jersey!
You know, let's start talking about the kids who aren't ever talked about.
Exactly. Welcome to Jersey Mat Chat. And we got some special guests tonight. Doug, you want to introduce these guys?
Yeah, we got Killian Coluccio, Lacey's finest, total stud. And we have his head coach, Justin Bonitatis.
There you go.
Justin's a long-tenured coach in the South Jersey community, definitely for sure. We'll get into his background as a grappler, fighter, teacher, mentor, etc. But we're going to kick the stuff off. Killian, thanks for coming. Just a couple general questions, man. You know, what's going on now that the season's over? What are you doing with yourself? Anything exciting or what?
Just practicing, getting ready for Fargo that's coming up, and just doing a couple off-season tournaments, just staying in the game.
Okay, cool. What are you weighing?
I'm probably 23 right now, 24.
What weight you're going for Fargo?
So I'm going 113 at the end of this month, and I'm gonna see how I feel, and then if I feel good, then I may drop to 6, but
okay,
may stay up at 13.
I hear you. So what's your excitement level for him coming off the season and into the off season?
I mean,
coach,
for him, it's through the roof, man.
Yeah.
You know, he's got all the talent in the world. Works hard. You know, we missed that one match in the state in the finals.
Yeah.
But that's just going to come back tenfold down the road.
Yeah.
So we're just staying the course, working hard, get back on the mat, train, compete, and just keep being him. You know, that's what I tell him before every match. There's only one Killian Coluccio. Go be you.
Yeah. How long have you been at Lacey?
I've been at Lacey now 7 years.
7 years. Okay.
So just finished my 7th season there.
And how excited were you to get this stud?
Absolutely, man. I mean, he's a blue chip kid. You know,
of course. He's
impactful to the team, and it's also great to have a horse in that race. Come to Atlantic City knowing that you're going to go down there and collect some hardware.
Killian, what's your thoughts of wrestling for this guy? Did you guys build a relationship pretty easily?
Yeah, I mean, we were doing summer practices after I got kicked out, and we just connected, bonded right there.
Yeah, man. I mean, in July, I think it was, school got lit out, and we started training for Fargo. And he's just my type of kid. Just a straight shooter, works hard, and is down to scrap. So kind of hit it perfectly out the gate.
Yeah. Do you teach at Lacey?
I do.
You do? What do you teach?
I teach health and phys ed.
Are you his teacher?
I am.
This year?
Yeah.
Yeah. What grade? What's your gym grade? What'd you get? First couple.
He gets good grades.
Maybe like a 50.
Yeah. We give him the 98. We give him the 98. Can't give him the 100.
All right, that sounds good. A little preferential treatment. Nothing wrong with that, right? So with Justin, your background, you grew up in South Jersey, Cherry Hill East.
Yeah.
And from Cherry Hill East, you wrestled what, TCNJ?
I went to TCNJ, yes.
Okay. Nice. And that wasn't that long. How old are you?
I'm 37.
Oh, well, yeah, a little longer.
Yeah.
A little while ago.
It's getting there, man.
Yeah, you look good.
It comes quickly, man. Trust
Dude,
me.
yeah. It starts to stack up, and it's
Yeah.
like, come on, just stop.
What's the biggest change you've seen in the wrestling now from when you were coming up?
Just the scrambling. You know what I mean? Yeah. Defense is no longer head and hands, bury the head, meet them with your hips.
Okay.
Cover. A lot of these kids are letting guys get in deep into their legs. Like, he can scramble as good as anybody. So you have to make the adjustments as a coach. You know, when I competed, it was physical, it was hard, and it was like, if you touch my legs, you're going to pay for it. Now it's like, you know, he likes it when kids get to his legs. That's why no one shoots on him.
Right.
They know that.
And we got a Super 32 champ, right?
No.
Super 32 what?
He's Escape the Rock
Escape
champ.
the Rock champ. That's
Escape
what
the
it
Rock
was.
champ.
Escape the Rock, and then States. Give us a little bit about some of your background, because I was reading some stuff, man. It's pretty impressive. So for those who don't know,
Last year I won Escape the Rock, took 4th at Powerade. I was a Fargo All-American. I took 4th there. Jersey State finalist, New Jersey State 3rd.
2 times region, 2 times district.
Yeah,
Time.
he's a winner.
Third state is a frost, right? State runner-up last year.
He sucks.
He's a winner.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
He's a winner, man.
I tell you what, I've seen this kid grow up since he was a little. You got to see. I wish we had a picture of you with your dreadlocks.
No,
You should have saw him with dreads.
Oh, I had dreads when I was.
It was.
Yeah, that's great.
He was the only kid in New Jersey with dreads, and I remember first seeing Killian when he was probably 7 years old. Him and Luke would always wrestle, the 45-pound Bantam brackets and stuff.
Yeah.
He's always been a little killer, man. And then I've got to know him, and I've got to know his family. It's a good kid, good family. But Killian, I mean, listen, let's face it, let's be real. I think a lot of people look at you like a villain. You know what I mean? You have that stigma with you to a degree. I don't look at you that way. But, sometimes when you're in a gym, people, you'll hear as many boos as cheers sometimes. But what I want to know is, what is Killian Coluccio off the mat when he's not wrestling? Is he eating Lucky Charms all day? Is he training? Is he riding a dirt bike? Is he fishing?
A little bit of both.
You know what? I think people get this wrong impression of you is my point. So I think you're a normal kid, but I want you to tell us how normal you are.
I mean, I do teenage stuff. Hang out with my friends a bunch. That's probably the one thing that I always do, hang out with my friends. I go out to the pit all the time, ride dirt bikes. I mean, I just hang out, really.
Is the pits in the Pines? Like, where are the pits in the Pines?
The pit, it's literally right across the street from my house.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Yeah, it's just like a bunch of open land.
It's
we all
crazy.
go riding back there.
It's
I know
crazy.
you don't like that.
Not to cut you off. No, riding dirt bikes. I mean, listen, I did the same thing growing up, but isn't that what we do once we become adults? We don't make the same mistakes that we make. But he's a killer in the center of a circle in a wrestling mat.
Yeah.
Aggressive, physical.
Of course.
And that's why people sometimes don't necessarily appreciate that style if you're not in his corner.
Yeah.
But off the mat, he's extremely laid back. Like, very just relaxed.
Oh, I know he's laid back.
I know.
Yeah.
For the outsiders.
Yeah. I mean,
He's not as intense as he always is when he's wrestling.
The whole purpose of what we're doing here, right, is not just Killian or you or whoever else. It's an opportunity to see a side of a kid, okay, that isn't the competitor.
Yeah,
you know what I
man.
mean? That isn't the
man.
champ. That isn't the whatever. Because no matter what you are, what you're perceived to be, he's still a 17-year-old kid. He's battling teenage emotions.
No doubt.
He's chasing goals. He's got academics. He's got a big family. He's girlfriend, whatever he's got going on. He's getting straight A's in gym, so we know he's good there. But the point is like, what is there anything about yourself that you would want to change, or do you love who you are?
I love who I am.
Okay, you
I
should.
love
You should.
who I am.
You should love who you are.
Love it.
You know.
You should love who you are.
Yeah.
So what do you now? Let's get into, like, for example, you just mentioned about you might go down to 6 for Fargo, whatever the kilograms is.
Yeah.
Is that pounds or kilograms out there?
I think it's pounds. out
Pounds.
there.
Okay. So when do you start deciding this from a nutrition standpoint?
Probably like 5 weeks out, maybe.
But it's in your head now, though. So that
Yeah.
means you're going 6. I know
Yeah.
how it works.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Maybe.
when did that? But my point is, did you know this 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew this a while ago.
Okay.
I mean, I started thinking about it like maybe 2-3 weeks ago.
Now, for the kids who are watching, or for the
And for me,
for anyone who's watching, what makes a wrestler say, "I'm going to go this specific weight"? What made you say, "I'm going to go this specific weight"?
I mean, I just want to go wherever's best for me, wherever my body's going to feel the best, and wherever I have the best shot at winning a Fargo title. I mean,
Okay.
that's probably my biggest goal, is winning a Fargo title this year.
can I ask you a simple question? Diet-wise, like, how do you approach that during the season when you want it? So you saying 5 weeks out? Do you have a specific routine you follow to get to that weight?
Yeah, I'm on the Cut Pro thing, the Anthony Knox thing.
Okay,
That's been working pretty good for me. I mean, I used it all season, and it was working great for me, so.
oh, that's beautiful.
So
okay.
go ahead, plug them. Plug them.
Let 'em
Yeah.
know. What is-
Plug them.
Cut Pro, go check him out. I mean,
Cut Pro.
hit him up.
There you
Good
go.
weight cut. I mean, I felt great when I was dropping to 6 during the season, so go check him out.
There you go. Now, how much nutritional advice do you offer, Killian, or have you offered, I should say?
A lot.
Okay.
Try, you know what I mean? I think that when he's coming down to a weight class, it's the best thing for him because he lives his entire lifestyle cleaner.
Yeah.
So if he's focusing on getting his weight down and eating healthy meals and getting the right amount of sleep, you're going to get the best version of Killian on the mat too.
Yeah. The importance of nutrition, man. It's if you cut weight, or if you have ever cut weight correctly and incorrectly, you have something to compare.
Oh, absolutely.
It is so important. I mean, how you cut your weight, what you eat. A lot of people have the misconception is starve, dehydrate, suck it up, and then load up after a weigh-in, and you're not going to compete at a high level.
That was me last
That
year.
was- that might
Last
have been his
season I
freshman
did that,
year,
and
Yeah.
I felt horrible
I'm
every
sure you
single
did.
match I wrestled.
sure you
But this year, after using the Cut Pro, I felt great.
What's your go-to cheat meal?
Ugh. I don't even know.
Oh, come on. Bullshit.
I don't know.
Ice cream.
Everybody
Ice
has
cream.
a cheat meal.
Ice cream.
No, I was pretty disciplined. I
I know,
this
but you're a
season.
teenager.
No, now ice cream.
Every teenager cheats. So what's your cheat meal?
Yeah, probably ice cream.
Ice cream. All right. Cool.
Probably ice cream.
All right. So now, how long did it take you after meeting him to know how to motivate him, how to hold him accountable, how to light that fire under him?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. So, I mean, in the summer when we started training, I got the idea of who he was as a kid and as a wrestler. But the Escape the Rock tournament came up quick this year because it's my first time cornering him, my first time watching him compete with the lens that I'm looking through as his coach.
For those that don't know, is Escape the Rock folk or freestyle?
It's folks. It's in season.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
So that was the first big tournament of this season for him, and that's where I got to learn the most about him. You know, his, after he lost in the semis, and obviously those losses hurt.
Of course.
And it took a little bit of time to put him back together out in the hallway. But when it did happen, the way he competed after that was exactly what I needed to see as a coach, and it also gives you a better insight to who he is as a young man. So I mean, it was, even though he took not what he wanted there, he didn't win the title this year. It was probably a great moment for me as a coach to watch it happen.
For any other coaches that get in a hammer like this into the room, right? How hard is it to push them and to make sure they're getting the most to take them to a new level?
Yeah, I mean, that's another great question, man. It's always, kids are individuals, so different kids, beat to different drums. So it takes a little bit of time, but you have to know how to push and pull with kids, especially teenagers. When you coach high school, it's different than coaching at the college level. At high school, you have to know when to push, and then you have to know when to pull and get off the gas a little bit and be the mentor, not just the wrestling coach. So if you can combine those two things, as far as being a leader for kids, teenagers, that's where you're going to get the best results.
Now, Killian, you went from one extreme to another. You went from an all-boys, Christian school to a public school of boys and girls.
Yeah, it's a lot different. I mean, even like the academics got easier because private school academics are just out the roof.
Yeah,
Like, they're just so hard.
I'm sure.
And then transferring to public school now, it's so much easier, and my grades are a lot better now.
Really?
Now that I'm at public school, yeah.
Okay. Well, good thing you have A in gym.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you get
that
what he
helps.
gets with us is you get a lot of people in your corner that aren't just focused on your wrestling.
Yeah. Of
Focused
course.
on that full package and developing you. So
Now, in hindsight,
good fit.
if you were an 8th grader, knowing what you know now, would you go to Lacey as a 9th grader?
See, I would and I wouldn't.
Okay.
I mean, because you get a lot more looks when you're at a big named school. Like when you're at one of the top schools in the country, you're going to get looked at a lot more.
Well, if you go to the
Unless-
same events, the looks are going to be the same.
Get him, coach.
That's the truth. I don't care if you're at Lacey. I don't care if you're at CBA. I don't
But
care
know
if
what
you're
you're
at
saying.
wherever.
But I know what you're saying.
You go to the big events, you perform there, and you're going to be fine. And you'll perform there. You'll be fine.
I
Yeah.
know CBA, they pull in a lot of people. Obviously those Catholic schools, they get to pull in
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Is it different in the wrestling room? Is that different with the amount of talent?
Yeah, it's a lot different. Like
Yeah.
the talent at CBA is really good.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of good kids, a lot of top ranked kids,
Yeah.
like kids that are good that will place in the state every year. And then when you transfer to a public school, they're not all so focused in on wrestling. Like that's not their biggest goal.
Yeah.
So do you
So-
allow, as a coach, do you allow him to supplement, or I should say replace, his high school workouts with other workouts? Or do you feel like you're going to put the right guys and coaches in the room to roll with him if needed?
Yeah, so that's kind of where we were at this season. Replace, I wouldn't say replace. He can get additional work with other partners
Right.
At the club when he
Yeah.
needs to. But I prepped him with him for Fargo, and I'm obviously bigger. Knowing that I was going to get him this year, I reached out to my college teammate who's an All-American at 133, this kid Dan Herr. Got him on staff. I had 2 state qualifiers returning at 20,
Yeah, Schuler was one, right?
Schuler,
Yeah.
and I had Flinney.
But Schuler's graduating. isn't he?
Schuler graduates,
Yeah, yeah.
Flynn's back.
Yeah, okay.
But him and Coach Herr battled all year. I
Okay.
mean, and Coach Herr's a tremendous coach, and that dude still scraps like he's 18.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
understand.
where it really was.
Yeah, but Chris, you know this as being a wrestler. That's great, but you need that. If you're a 106 pounder, you need that 106 quickness. You need that 106 flexibility to roll with. So, and if he doesn't have that,
Yeah.
right, as a coach, how do you give him that? I mean, you can only give him a certain amount of looks, or it's a question for both of you.
Yeah.
How do you get it, and how do you offer it?
Yeah. I mean, I think my role is to provide it. I mean, that's what
Right.
I have to do. You
Yeah,
know what
yeah,
I mean? So,
yeah.
my buddy who I wrestle with in college will be with me until he's done, for sure. And he wrestles like a high school kid, man. They scrap. We have a good incoming freshman coming up next year that'll be a 6-pounder. Not at the same level of wrestling, but you just need kids that are willing to fight. And tell you what, Lacey has some tough, hard-nosed kids.
Yeah.
So you get kids in a wrestling room and, they know who he is and they're not scared to scrap at 100%. You still get looks. You need to be able to do things on high-level kids, but it's the kids that are a little bit below that level that give you fits at times because they don't wrestle the orthodox style.
Correct. They're not in a position where you expect them to be.
Yeah, but listen, I would never say training partners aren't important. It's crucial.
I got an opposite
it's
question,
crucial.
Because I know this happened to me in jiu-jitsu. We had a guy came in who was a wrestler from Rutgers.
Yeah.
And he was 4th in the country, whatever, and everyone's game elevated from that situation.
Yeah, of course.
Same with Lacey now. You bring in a kid like.
Yeah, of course, man. Of course, the lightweights thrive. You know what I mean? When you have a diamond, the other guys are going to work hard to get to that level. I mean, in practice room, we do a lot of sprints in between drills. Like that's their active rest. And he sprints. I have kids jog walls. This dude sprints. And you see 2-3 other kids in the team trying to catch him all the time. All the time. So it's good, man. It's the mindset.
It's like a domino effect.
It's the mindset, man. You can preach it as much as you want as the coach, right? You can preach this mindset, but you got to have individuals that buy into it, and then it just catches like fire.
Very well said.
So where you training now? What's your primary club?
I've been going to Triumph and training with Coach Nace
Okay.
and Pollard and all of them. So
Okay.
I got a lot of good partners in that room too.
How do you feel about now? Do you consider yourself loyal to Triumph, or that just happens to be the right room for you?
Yeah, I consider myself loyal to Triumph.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think
I'm always
about
there.
what do you think about club loyalty as a coach?
I think loyalty in general is a pretty important thing, but Triumph's a great club. They're all great clubs, man. It's all, in my opinion, it's all about what you see in the mirror. So if you go to the place and you're looking to not get noticed and just kind of blend in, then you're going to get what you get out of that workout. If you go to the club and you seek out those good partners and pay attention when the coaches are actually teaching things. That's the one thing with high school kids sometimes, though. The really, really good ones, they think they know everything already. And you got to kind of get them to understand.
You don't know everything.
I know you're good, dude, but you got to slow it down and learn these little details. But he's good with that, man.
I got an interesting base. I think what you're kind of getting at with debate-wise, is it better to be at one club? Do you think you can measure growth better if you're at one club with the same partners over and over again? You compete and so forth.
Yeah.
Or if you're going around, the PA, to Jersey, to up and down, to all different places and wrestling different partners. What do you think is better for your growth?
Me answer it? Then a kill? Personally, I think developing that rapport with a coach or a couple coaches in a specific club, it's important, man. Especially in the sport of wrestling. It's like to get these kids fired up to go out there and fight and have combat with each other, there has to be some trust factor of who's in your corner. So in the sport of wrestling, I think, it's important to develop that rapport with who's ever running that club and then stay with that guy and unless there's a reason for you to be leaving. But I think that loyalty to a club is a good thing.
What about you?
Yeah, I think loyalty is good, but I think the way that I got so good was actually going to all these different places like PA and wrestling with all these different kids and all these top-ranked kids.
Yeah.
I think that's what got me good at wrestling.
That's good. It's interesting.
Yeah, but you've always been good. And I know your ass wasn't going to PA when you were 4, unless you were, that I don't know about. But I agree. I know what you're saying. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm personally am a believer of wrestling as many styles, as many size kids, as many coaching philosophies as possible.
Yeah.
That's always been my
Everyone has their
philosophy.
opinion on that thing, man, for sure.
Is that really a thing? He's always been good?
He's
did he
always
start
he's
that?
always
Really?
been good.
Yeah, he's been good.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, probably. I was a killer when I was younger.
Yeah, he was. He was good. And he was like, if you did, time flies. If you didn't know him, this is the thing though. Like if just like he's like your typical kid, if you prejudge a kid, and if you didn't know him, he's that little asshole running through the hallways, with a Snicker bar in his hand. Yeah. He probably stole it, you know what I mean? Yeah. But he's the opposite of that. Just like anything. Listen, we're all guilty of looking at a kid and, you know what I mean? Yeah. Definitely the opposite.
Yeah.
Do you have any other secrets? Besides training with a lot of partners, what else helps you, do you think, get to where you're at? For all the kids watching out there.
Just training. You just got to be locked into it. And just set your mind on one goal. And that's really it.
Now, when you say training, because I'm always talking to my son about this, forget about losses, right? Don't think about that in the training.
Mm-hmm.
Just go to get better and stuff like that. How do you approach training in that respect? Versus, are you constantly trying to win in that, or are you trying to get better, or how do you approach in that?
I'm just trying to learn different techniques. Just like the more techniques that you have, the better you're gonna be. Because you don't want a kid to know what's coming next.
He's like the snap monster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Big snap
Strong,
down
man.
behind guy.
Strong.
You
Yeah.
agree with that too, Coach?
Yeah, he's strong for his size. Dude. I mean, when I wrestled with him in July, this past July for Fargo, and he was 115 pounds. I was like, this kid's strong for his size. Yeah, I mean, those are advantages, you know. I mean, wrestling has all different things that play out into the product, but being strong in positions is definitely a big one.
So do you remember growing up, like whatever age you were, 9, 10, 11, whatever, YouTube, I know was around then. Who did you find yourself, like what former New Jersey wrestler growing up, high school wrestler, did you find yourself like idolizing? And like watching a lot of?
Who? I mean, I grew up with like the Santinellos and Talmadge and all them, and I think watching them win state titles was like a big thing for me.
Yeah. But it's Vinny's the older one, right? Vinny's Vinny's the older one. Okay. Yeah, but you're not that much. We're not that much younger. You're not that much younger than them. You don't remember? Is there any other like you don't ever remember?
He was riding dirt bikes, man.
Yeah, dude.
We were talking about motocross. You think that helps with your grip strength and all that stuff?
Yeah,
Big
100%.
time, right?
Yeah.
Don't be an ice hockey dad.
Don't worry about it. I tell you right now, bro.
Don't get into this shit. Don't get into it. Oh, it's so hard. It's physically demanding.
It's tough.
Dude, I used to
Skating.
ride my bike for like 30 minutes, and I would just have a huge forearm pump.
Did you have to make weight to ride the bike?
Nah.
That's why it's not harder. Stop.
Nah, that's,
Stop.
nah,
I
it
knew
definitely
I
wasn't
knew you
hard.
were gonna. I knew you were coming with the nonsense. Yeah.
I respect it.
No, I hear
I
you.
do.
So the future of Lacey, I'm reading things and hearing things.
Yeah, man.
What's going on with their
I mean, what's going on in New Jersey right
dropping
now?
the sport? and-
General.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like the sports are fine.
Right.
So a couple weeks ago, that article got released that there was a chance that they were going to cut athletic programs to try and, accommodate the money.
Imagine that.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't.
I didn't
I mean,
know
you
about
can,
yeah,
but
yeah.
that wasn't going to happen.
It's crazy.
Yeah. We're gonna cut
It's
all
sad,
sports.
man. It's sad, man. Super sad.
Yeah. But it's good.
Yeah, it's good now. So they
Did that freak you out at all when you heard that?
Nah,
No,
Not
okay.
him.
Not
Okay.
really at all.
to scare. It was like a scare tactic.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, I'm
They do
sure.
it every single year.
I'm sure there was some form of truth behind it in the moment. You know what I mean? But I don't think there was a reason to get too crazy about it.
So I'm going to ask you a coaching question.
Go for it, man.
Okay. Let's assume next year, for sake of argument, Killian wins a state title. Okay. Would he be your first state champion as a coach?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let's say next year your team goes 2-18. Hypothetically, was your season a success as a coach?
It's a loaded question. It depends on your coaching perspective on what you do as a coach. You know what I mean?
I'm asking your perspective.
So I mean, I think of wrestling season as two different seasons. That individual postseason is kind of the time to get a little bit selfish and focus on those individual
Yeah,
kids.
yeah.
So I mean, if we finished with the state title, of course that would wrestle back that year mentally for me as a
course.
coach. 2-18 sounds awful, but
2-18 could be though a complete rebuild. It could be
Yeah,
a
of
complete-
course.
right. So what I just use 2-18 to basically bring a huge contrast between the two. It could be 500.
yeah,
I used
No,
to
yeah.
try to state champion, very very little success at the dual level.
yeah,
But if you have one kid that reaches the pinnacle of it,
Yeah.
as a coach, that's got to be exciting. I'm assuming, right?
of course,
Right, and
absolutely.
you're more excited than
Yeah.
bummed that you went 2-15, right?
Oh, of course.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah, and maybe there was some good progress along the way with kids' actual lives. So maybe you made
Yeah.
an impact and changed some lives throughout that year. Maybe the record didn't show, but you did a good job as a coach.
Of course.
So yeah, I mean, but finishing with the state title, which he will get, it's gonna be awesome when it happens. I had a kid at Cranford that was in the state finals too. I actually just saw him recently. This kid Gavin Murray.
Okay.
So that was my first state finalist, then Kill.
Well, how long were you at Cranford for?
I was at Cranford for 7 years too.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great judo school out there.
Cranford's tough, man.
Yeah.
It's a cool town, really cool town.
Is that an old town?
Yeah, I think
Old,
it gives that
What
vibe.
I mean is the school is like an
Yeah.
older school.
It gives that
yeah.
vibe. Westfield, Cranford
Westfield,
right
yeah.
there.
I've been to Westfield before.
yeah,
Never.
it's a cool
never
town.
Cranford.
They're always a tough program too.
So what's obviously state champ? I think is anyone's goal. That's a kid of your capabilities. But do you find yourself looking ahead to college?
Yeah, I want to win a bunch of NCAA titles.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, hopefully pursue my career to the Olympics.
Okay. So you see yourself right now at age, you are 17, right?
I'm about to be 17.
All right, we'll call you
so,
17. So as a 17-year-old kid right now, 10 years from now, you see yourself wrestling, still competing.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
And then hopefully maybe go into the UFC.
Really?
Yeah, I want to go into UFC.
We'll have you back on. We're really talking.
Yeah.
You beating people up for a living? I don't know.
Yeah, those
I don't know if that fits your personality.
That puzzle doesn't go together.
You have a UFC background, am I correct? Well,
Yeah, I fought.
MMA
Yeah, I
background,
fought,
should
man.
say?
I fought. I
MMA?
fought young. I fought when I was 18 in a couple amateur fights, and then I wrestled in college. And my college coach was like, "Dude, you're not coming here to wrestle and do MMA on the side."
Yeah.
So I hit pause, and then I picked it up after college ended.
Now, I'm losing track of time. Did you wrestle for Eisenhower?
I did, man. I was his last graduating class.
Okay, yeah. Ice was the man.
The man.
He was the man.
Great mentor,
Yeah.
great leader, just a good dude.
Okay, I wasn't sure. Again, it's hard to lose track on windows of time.
Yeah,
Where you can't,
for sure.
Yeah.
Do you train at all outside of wrestling, like jiu-jitsu or any of that stuff outside of wrestling at all? Dabble in that at all? Or not yet, right?
Not yet.
That makes sense. Because I wonder what the progression is. That it's a great base wrestling, by the way.
Yeah, his style is good for jiu-jitsu too.
You can't enter UFC, MMA or sanction UFC fights until you can kick your dad's ass.
I can do that right now.
I don't know, man.
Sal, are you watching?
I don't know, man. Sal's a legend, dude.
Sal would.
Tell
Hammer
me a little bit about
fist.
Sal. I don't know much.
Crush.
Why don't you fill me in? Who's your dad?
Sal.
Everybody knows
Yeah.
Sal.
Yeah.
If you don't know
He's
Sal, you just haven't
He's
been around
just-
wrestling a long time. He's a blue collar dude, man.
Yeah.
Just himself.
I love him, man.
He's just himself.
He doesn't give a shit.
Yep.
He's soft-spoken, dude, but he has like an aura. You know what I'm saying?
He's a good human being.
Sounds like my
He's
type
definitely
guy.
good. His mom's not a bad person either.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Mom's more vocal.
Yeah.
Definitely.
She's typical Irish wild woman.
Yeah.
But it's all good. No, it's all good. Killian, listen, man, the only thing I can tell you that obviously I do have the benefit of knowing you, but from an outside, to try to put myself in an outside observer on you. I mean, you're fun to watch. You're exciting. And your state final was a great match. I think the arena enjoyed it. It was the last match of the night for a reason. Sometimes you get it done and sometimes you fall short, but you got two more goes at it.
For sure.
Yeah.
You got two more
Absolutely.
goes at it. You reaching the state final is something that 99.9% of all wrestlers can never say that they've done. Like I said, you got two more cracks. So, and JoJo's tough. It was a good match.
And how was your, like, looking back, obviously the last match, but besides that, what'd you think of your year? How'd you do and all that?
I think
in terms of expectations starting out.
Yeah, I think I did good this year. I think my record was like 30-something and 1. So I only have 1 loss this season, which is a good record for me. It's
Nice.
a really good record.
What
Yeah.
about this year coming up? What are some of the expectations? What are you going for?
A state title. Chasing the state title. I mean,
So what are you going to change to get that state title?
probably change up a little bit of my wrestling. Not change it up fully because you can't learn all that in 1 year of wrestling. But change it up a little and try and
Do you think
correct my
you think
mistakes.
nutrition is going to be the final cherry on the ice cream that you like to eat? In other words, do you think nutrition is going to be the key element to get what you got to get done?
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
My speed matters.
Yes.
Everything.
Feeling good.
Yeah.
No, I hear
Yeah,
you. No, I
there
hear
you
you. In a perfect world, where do you see yourself going to college? Big Ten, East Coast, West Coast,
Big 10.
Big Ten.
Big 10.
Okay.
It's the goal.
Of course. Might
That's
be.
really good, yeah.
No, yeah. Well, listen, some kids, from who I've talked to, and kids being recruited and whatever, not everyone wants to embrace that kind of a grind, though.
Yeah.
There's a fine balance of going to college, getting your degree, competing at a high level.
Yep.
But I don't need the Big Ten. I don't want that.
Yeah, no.
And a lot of people will admit that they just don't want any part of that. They feel they can be successful, but not be a part of that grind.
Yeah, a lot of people get into those Ivy League schools, right? And then the wrestling becomes second.
Well,
nature.
not Ivy League, but you got the ACC. There's really good kids out of the ACC.
Yeah, there's
but
good kids
They don't have
everywhere.
that grinder though of a Big Ten
Schedule.
gauntlet. You know what I mean? But they're still successful.
Right.
That's why I like to ask kids. Like, do you picture yourself just enjoying college a little bit more, You know what I mean? Enjoying the grind of a full-time wrestler, or do you want to go right into the wolf den? So he wants to go into it. Good for him.
Yep.
He's a wolf.
You got that Big Ten kind of mentality.
No
though.
doubt.
Yeah, you definitely do.
Gotta have the heart.
Yeah, you got to have the heart. Yeah, and you got to have that. I don't know, man. It's
Just gotta have that dog in you.
got to have that dog in you.
You
Absolutely.
think that when you
Yep.
get to states and that stuff and the final thing, because that podium's tough, man. I don't care who you are. on that
Yeah.
podium, man.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, man.
Whoever
Absolutely.
puts you on. I mean, how mentally challenging is it with those guys? Because you wrestle these guys all year. You know kind of where you stand and where you're at with this. So how mentally challenging is that to go into, against an opponent familiar with?
Yeah, I mean, almost every single kid in that bracket I've wrestled once before in my life. So I mean, I think just go out there and mess them up. That's it. That's
Yeah,
it. Just go out there and mess them up. You could be friends after the match, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that bracket was deep.
Tough. Super tough, man.
Arguably one of the best.
And
right?
it was tough.
five of
Very
those
tough.
top 8 placers at 106 were from one conference.
Yeah.
Short comps, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
5 of those 8 were from the same conference in New Jersey. That is nuts.
Loaded.
Teams are nationally ranked too.
There was
I think
three
all
or-
of them
three or
all of them
four.
at some point.
Yeah.
All
three
of them
or
at some
four.
point were nationally ranked. Yeah, that is that was a tough weight, and it was a fun weight though. Now I had a horse in the race, but still outside of that, see where it gets interesting, and his mom or dad will would agree. I got my son wrestling, but then when he's done wrestling, I see Killian wrestling, so I'm watching Killian. I want him to win. And then I see Sean Kenny wrestling. I'm watching Sean. I want him to win. And then I'm watching JoJo wrestle. And I want him to. I know all these kids.
Yeah.
Luke knows all these kids. They all know each other. They've trained together and hung
small
out
circle,
together.
man.
So you're rooting for everyone. Then there comes a point in time though where the rooting stops, because your horse now is wrestling the kids you've been rooting for all tournament. So that's what he means. Like it's nothing personal. You're rooting, but there comes a point in time where the rooting just ends.
Yeah.
And then it becomes just business. You just
Well, I will tell you, I've from my business, I do a lot of video stuff, and I work with some college wrestlers, and all their clients are all other wrestlers. Like that
Yeah,
community
man.
stays
Yeah, it's a
together.
tight community, man.
It
For
is.
sure.
It really, really is. I mean, it's.
It is. It absolutely is.
It's. I've said it one of the other segments. It's the only sport where you could be best friends with your own biggest rival,
Yeah.
and it's really possible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
my
they get it.
state semis match. Well, I wrestled
Yeah.
literally one of my best friends. I've been wrestling since I was 5
Yeah.
years old.
And that was we wrestled him too at Escape the Rock.
Yeah.
Or no.
Yeah, except for
Yeah, that's right.
Escape the Rock.
And it was like that was before I developed that rapport with him. Remember I was saying I watched him compete. So I was trying to remind him, like, I know that you guys are extremely close, but I don't want to see you compete any different this match than you do any match. And he did a great job at that, man, because that is a hard thing to do.
It is hard.
Wrestling someone that you genuinely care about is a tough thing, because let's face it, wrestling is a fight. So you're pretty much fighting someone that you care about. But for those 6 minutes, those feelings have to be compartmentalized, and then you have to go do your job.
See, in the older days, and you would probably agree, you didn't train with the best kids in the state all the time. You trained with the best kids in your area. Now the best kids in the
Seek
state
each other
are
out.
actually training with each other.
Yeah, they seek each other
That's
out.
how the sport has evolved.
Correct.
Well,
So
I mean, I think that was reflected in 14 out of 16 of the weight classes was 1 versus 2 in AC, right? If that's
There was
correct.
definitely a lot.
There was
There was definitely a lot.
But that's seeds. I mean, seeds that's a good topic for another episode.
Yeah, it shakes out weird.
Seeds are
sometimes.
weird. It's for the most part, they get it right for the most part. The system is designed to get it right. It's not perfect,
No.
but the cream will rise. The cream's going to rise either way. It doesn't
Yeah.
really matter. And I'll tell you what, a lot of times, and I bet you he'll agree with me, Killian will and Justin will. If you wrestle the state tournament back to back weeks, you might have a different 1 through 8.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Very possible.
100%.
Yeah.
It ain't going to be 1 through 8 all 3 weeks. It's going to be different. You might have kids that didn't place take 4th.
Yeah.
You might have a kid that take 3rd, take
Yeah,
7th.
especially
Like,
at his weight class,
It's all
man.
about the placement.
It's nuts.
It's all
Especially
about
at
Where
one-
you sit in a bracket
106.
matters. 100% matters.
Weight was tough.
It was.
A lot of scrappy kids that
I
were
don't
that
think
were.
people understand, because I know I didn't. Is you see a kid who loses like by a point, and then they wind up in 6th. And
Yeah.
They lost to the guy who won the whole thing
Yeah.
at 1 point.
Yeah.
That's the way. That's the
It's
nature
mental.
of the business.
It's
Yeah.
like
That big of- that's small
yeah.
of a fraction of a difference.
Taking losses in tournaments like that for the individual teenage kid to wrestle back from it in a short period of time, it takes a lot of mental toughness. It's difficult because their goal is so large and they know what their goal is. And if you slip up once, your goal is taken away from you. And how fast can you make peace with that and get back to the next best thing? That's a really tough thing to do, man.
Now, Justin, how much state wrestling experience did you get to have in high school?
I went to States 2 years.
Okay, so you at least you're a coach that had a taste of it.
Yeah.
Were you a podium wrestler?
No.
Okay.
No.
So again, now I'm going to ask you a question. Now, when you obviously you wrestle at the next level and all that stuff, and as you gain wisdom and understanding, it's a little easier to relate to what he's going through. But as a coach who didn't achieve what your own wrestler is achieving, does he help put things in perspective for you?
I mean, at this point in life, there's so many things that have put things in perspective for me. But absolutely, you know, I mean, in high school, I was just a brawler.
Yeah.
I didn't do what these kids do. I didn't seek out the right partners. I played 3 sports.
Right.
I had fun on the side. I was a lot like Killian. Wrestling was not my entire life, even though during those 6 minutes it was.
Right.
I wish I lived it a little bit different at those teenage years, but that's life, brother. Yeah, and watching him do his thing now, it puts into perspective. There's a lot of work he puts in that a lot of these good kids put in right now. That's necessary.
Yeah.
You know, at the state level, if you're a guy who's wrestling 3 months out of the year, you are behind. You're behind the ball. You're not going to find the podium. If you're wrestling 5-6 months out the year, you're going to struggle to find the podium.
Yeah.
You have to be training and competing at this era. You know, 10, 11, 12 months out of the year. You got to live the lifestyle. So, you know, and then you get to college and you're forced to live that lifestyle. So I had success there, but no, I mean, he's been living it for his whole life, I feel like, man. I remember him when we had youth Lacey wrestling tournaments with the dreads.
Yeah,
I remember him running around with the blonde dreads, dude. I'm like, who is this wild card, man?
killing kids.
I like this kid,
Killing
dude.
kids.
This kid reminds me of me. I like him.
Now, Killian, for your state finals, I know you can pick anyone you want to sit in the corner. Why'd you pick your little cousin? Was there a reason behind that?
He's the man.
I know, but I'm curious of the reason, though. Like,
I just want to make him happy.
yeah, that's
good job.
That's awesome.
It's just
that's
it's the
awesome.
one thing I want to do. Just,
Yeah.
My
He was
parents-
loving that. He was loving it.
Dude, so
He was
fired
loving
up.
it. Yeah. I
My
was just
parents
curious.
get nervous. My parents get nervous down there, so they didn't want to go down.
Okay.
So I was like, all right, I'll take my
Okay.
little cousin
I was just
down.
curious. Yeah. that's my
So
boy.
if you're a coach and you got a kid goes all the way to number 2 on the podium, how do you? I mean, it's such a fraction of a difference to go to thing.
Yeah.
How do you approach this year now to challenge him to make him to go to that next level?
He's just got to, you know, understand that last year was last year. You know, if we don't do the right things, we don't take second place maybe. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to wash it back out and get back to work. He's got to live that same lifestyle he lived. He peaked at the right time this year. He really locked it in, started shifting gears as far as output in the room, with his nutrition, with his sleep, with his academics. He lived a lifestyle. We came up shy in the finals by, in my opinion, a few seconds. You know, give us another 30 seconds, he's going to find a takedown. He was in. We rushed the finish. He didn't know how much time was left. It's a pretty wild moment to be in. And you know, he'll tell you he had to take down, but it was damn close. But
It was a great match.
yeah, dude, he closed the gap. I mean, that we wrestled that kid at Escape the Rock this year. Again, the first time I started cornering him, and he wrestled like a Tasmanian devil. He was in good positions, wrestled himself out of good positions, and that kid, he majored us.
Yeah, that's right. He had to sit. I forgot about that.
Yeah, man.
he had to
So
sit.
so
I was wondering when you were like first
so
cornered.
you go
okay,
from
now-
wrestling a kid that majored you in a big tournament in the
Right.
semis, and you have him again in the state finals, and you out wrestle him, just don't win on the scoreboard. You've made good progress.
Right.
There's a lot of good progress that happened in that finals. He stuck to a game plan. We were happy with it, not the result. But sometimes it's not about the product; it's more about the process, right? So we were happy with his process this winter.
I just thought of something else now. Now that you're on a Lacey team and it's not as many like a CBA team and stuff like that, do you find a lot of people ducking you and stuff? Do you run into that a lot in terms of coaching and stuff like that?
Sometimes.
I mean, big dual meets. If a coach can avoid wrestling him with one of their better kids,
Yeah.
99% of coaches are going to do that because you're trying to win a dual meet. Right. So it's unfortunate, but luckily for us this year, we had a pretty good load down low in a row. You're still going to bump away from him, but it would take a pretty good kid to bump away from him and run into my next kid and beat him too. So
Gotcha. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, both above and below me. We had 2 good kids.
yeah. So
That was my biggest surprise, I guess, coming to wrestling is how often that happens.
yeah, coaching, there's a lot of strategy,
a lot of
man.
strategy.
In dual meets, there's a lot of strategy. I mean, unless you're at a team like, you know, like the CBA, like the private school that just has, you know, placer after placer after placer, then you don't have to worry about bumping as much.
Right.
But as a public school, it's part of the game. It's the fun part of the game is from a coaching perspective. It makes you feel like you're involved in the outcome.
A little bit more.
A little bit more.
Okay.
So, Killian, if you have goals to wrestle in college, in the Big Ten specifically, when do you tell yourself it's time to get up to 135, 140 pounds?
Good question.
I think I don't need to worry about that stuff until like the end of my senior year, like when I'm gonna go into college, because I'm probably gonna redshirt my freshman year to give me time.
Yeah.
And then that's when I'm gonna start getting bigger.
Do you doubt and I'm curious with any kid, not just you, do you doubt your ability to wrestle at 120?
No.
You don't doubt it? Okay.
Yeah,
You
no.
shouldn't doubt it. But I think you're a lightweight. There's a lot of lightweights, and I've always wondered, and I was always interested in what makes certain kids say, you know what? Nah, it's time to focus on the next thing I'm going to accomplish. It might not have worked out here, okay? But it's not the end game. In order for it to work out at the next level, I got to be here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I wonder when kids start to realize and understand that.
Yeah.
And every kid's answer is different.
Yeah, man.
I think once they put it
a
into
good question.
perspective,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
that's when they're really gonna focus in on it.
Yeah, of course.
I think.
Now,
I
what
mean,
if I don't mean to interrupt
No,
you?
go
What
ahead,
if a coach heavily, let's say you hypothetically, you start getting calls on the 15th and June 15th, and you get offered, all right, and the coach says, "I want you to wrestle 126 next year as a senior." What are you gonna do?
I probably won't do it.
And
I'm just gonna do what's best for me.
He probably won't say that. I'm just
Yeah.
trying to get into your brain. What is your brain thinking towards the next level? And if you start getting opportunities very soon, what's priority for you?
For me, it's just whatever's best for me.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll get there, right? I mean, so
Oh, he's gonna get there.
yeah,
He's
sophomore
gonna get
year,
there.
106. From a coach perspective, I would say after your junior season is when he's got to go back in as a senior year and wrestle up a little bit weight
Yeah,
class.
yeah.
But he can compete at those weight classes now.
I know he can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
I've always wondered why. Sometimes kids stay down to face the tougher bracket.
Yeah. Well, he wants to chase everybody. That's
Yeah,
good, man.
sometimes kids go up sometimes kids they're so confident in themselves.
Yeah.
This is where I'm going, and whoever wants to come here can come here.
Yeah.
See, I think he fits more in that mold.
That's yeah.
I'm going here,
Yeah.
and I don't care who comes here.
Yeah.
That to me, that's the alpha male
That's him.
approach.
Agreed.
This is where I'm going.
I got a quick question from my perspective.
Yeah.
When you have would you say it's more? I heard this breaking down that between Iowa and Penn State, the difference in styles of wrestling, right? And how Penn State is a little more progressive, and Iowa is like they drill the same move that you're best at over and over
Yeah.
again. So you have the most experience with that move in front of it. What's your opinion on that? What do you think's a better style? Is it better to be better at one move over and over again and have that in your wheelhouse? And also, how do you feel about that?
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
curious.
I grew up drillers make killers. That's how I've always been raised. You know what I mean? But you have to also evolve with the times, right? And I think there's a lot of outside perspective on those two programs that nobody has any idea about. Like Cale Sanderson isn't running a practice like, all right, guys, let's have fun. Like he's teaching wrestling. They're going hard. And Tom Brands and the Iowa guys, of course, are like people say robots. They're grinding, no doubt. But I'm sure there's a little bit of that in each room. But personally, I don't know. That's just how I was coached. Drillers make killers, but you have to be able to adapt. So, like, you have to have a system, and then you have to be able to bend that system a little bit for what you have on your team. Depends on who's on the team. If you have a team full of absolute killers, then okay, you can treat them like machines. If not, you got to let them have a little bit of fun. I mean, these kids play basketball for 20 minutes every practice before we start, man. I mean, 20 minutes they play basketball before every
I love
practice.
to see you dribble a basketball.
Oh, dude,
That would be
he's the
fun.
champ. He's the champ.
That's funny.
Oh, dude, it's great.
Got the most titles.
It's the great. Our wrestling room, we got a new wrestling room. It's pretty awesome. But in the room is like a basketball, a hoop. So the kids play knockout. They shoot around, make their own games up. It's fun, man.
What's your take?
I'd probably say stick to the same move because I stuck to the same move all season. Snap down, go behind. That was my thing. I always trained that. In the beginning of every practice, we used to do snap down, go behind, snap down, go behind for
do a lot of
probably 10 minutes. I'd say all we did was snap down, go behind. So, I mean, I'd probably say stick to one move.
So you're proof that drillers are killers.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree, man.
Some things never change, and some things don't have to change.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the way it is.
Yeah. I mean, repetition, right?
Yes.
You want that muscle memory.
Yeah.
You want kids to be in those positions in the heat of the match and not have to necessarily think about what they're doing. Just truly react to the feel that they have every day in the room, right?
I've seen Killian in a room wrestling my own son, wrestling other kids because we all pretty much train together. And he like the good ones, they don't try to win in practice.
Yeah, he
They don't
freestyles.
win. You know, when you try
He
to win in
flows.
practice, you're there for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
You know, I see it's common for him to get taken down 7, maybe 8 times in a practice but it doesn't. you're not keeping score. You're not winning. You're not trying to win practice. You're trying to develop. You're trying different positions. No, I'm using that as a number. You're putting yourself in a position to where if you get taken down, who cares? You're trying to
no doubt.
work out of that new position.
Absolutely, man.
That's what the good ones do.
I took down Coluccio.
Yeah. No, but
There's been kids in my room this year, dude, that he don't like. Yeah.
But you get some kids, you never see them getting takedown in practice.
Yeah.
It's nothing if you're keeping score.
Yeah.
For 7 live goes. What are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
What
you're
is
not
that?
wrong, man.
There's no
You're not
productivity
wrong.
there. Just
You have to be in bad positions to learn how to get out of those bad
Yes.
positions. It's part of the game, man.
work on what you're uncomfortable doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Work on that.
kids-
And I've seen him do it a million times.
Kids don't like to shoot
how
on
he
him
does
either.
it.
Like
Yeah.
it's so like that was one of the biggest things this year getting him. Like, you know, everyone had told me ahead of time, like, he's not gonna shoot. He's not gonna pull the trigger. He's got such good go behinds. And he really does have great go behinds. That was part of the mission to get him attacking the legs. You can attack the legs from your go behind. And the match that just popped in my head right now, thinking about it, was that Del Barton kid. What, Terra Nova? Yeah. I mean, we broke that kid by just leg attacks. Leg attacks. And that's a nationally ranked kid in the States that Killian just went out and I probably had 7, 8 takedowns on leg attacks.
Yeah. So, breaking a kid is more of a just, you get to a certain point, especially with the 3-point takedown.
Yeah, man.
You're jump up now.
Yeah.
It's 9-2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
it's
nuts.
It's crazy.
You felt like that rule change helped you?
Yeah.
Anybody good on their feet,
Yeah.
love it. If you're good on your feet, that rule is amazing for you.
You think, though, with the rule change, like, oh, it's only 9-2, I can come back. It's a lot harder to come back
Yeah.
when you're, because he's got the same opportunity to widen that lead quicker with the 3-point takedown. It's
And then the back's changing, man. Yeah, the points were a little wonky this year. Like, even from a coach perspective, figuring things out right out the gate. You put a kid to his back, and the scores, it's 7-0.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah. Well, we were just talking
Used to
about
be
how you were
5.
saying how fast the state finals went because of that.
Yeah.
with all the changes.
Yeah,
Well,
a lot more text.
the state
too.
tournament in general. We were so ahead of schedule in the wrestlebacks. It was nuts.
Yeah.
They were supposed to start, I forget what it was, wrestleback 4 at 5 o'clock. They were wrestling at 3:30.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, it definitely goes a lot quicker.
they got to
now.
make adjustments there.
Yeah, they had to do some, agreed, adjustments.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, your
traditionally,
traditionally,
tech go higher.
Traditionally, you come to the state tournament knowing that, okay, if I lose here, I got this much time in between matches. If I win here, that was not the case this year. It was all out of whack.
Yeah, some of those tournaments, man,
All out of whack. It was crazy.
The time in between rounds is crazy.
They'll fix that. They'll fix
Do you
it.
think it's better to go after the tech or the pin when you're going after? Or does it depend on the kid?
I mean, pin. He's a pinner. He pins it. He's a pinner.
Pin,
Here's the thing.
In
There's no fluke in a tech fall.
In team duels, you want the pin because that's that extra point.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right,
So you could provide for as many points as you can provide to your team in a duel. You got to go out and get it. But kids like him with his mentality, he wants to leave you on the mat after the ref smacks the mat and he's standing up.
Yeah, but you know how it works, right? Now, we all read the box scores. Let's say it says Coluccio pin this kid.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Let's take that back. Let's say this kid pinned Coluccio.
Yeah, he caught him.
Oh, he caught him.
Yeah.
And they're going to answer, what's the score? But if it's this kid, or if it's Coluccio, tech fall this kid, there's nothing to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing to ask.
Yeah.
We know exactly how that match went. That's why I say, go for the tech.
Yeah.
I know coaches like the 6, but
Yeah,
Get the
I mean,
5
I
and be
like
happy
the
with it.
pin too. I mean, it's opinion based. You know what I mean?
yeah, of course.
Holding someone on their back and them not being able to fight off is also a point proven.
I hear you.
Like getting the points in attack means you can put him to his back in a tilt or you took him down a bunch and show me you can kill the man.
Yeah.
Right. Break 'em.
It's vanilla and chocolate, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I
dude.
hear you.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. Do you guys you have anything you want to plug? You already did Cut Pro. Anything else? This is your opportunity to just advertise, plug, give a shout out.
Anyone who's
anything.
helped you or helped you grow that you could shout out to other people.
Or does your uncle own a pizza shop? Anything you want to do? Here's your chance right here.
I don't
Whatever you want, man.
I
Go
don't
first. I'm good too.
even have anyone that.
No pressure. Here's your chance. We believe in. Hey.
Yeah, a lot of people
Give thanks.
obviously to get where you're at. A lot of people help. Sometimes it's family, sometimes other people. So we always give people a chance to shout out some of the people that might have helped them along the way that don't get the credibility.
Definitely my family. My family definitely helped me a lot. My coaches definitely helped me a lot. Cut Pro helped me a lot.
Cut Pro's going to owe Coluccio some residuals. So that's what they're going to do. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
Knox, get that checkbook ready. Yeah. How about you?
Nah, man. Thank you guys both for having us on here.
man,
I mean,
thanks
this
for
This isn't all. It's a different time, right? But these are awesome things, man.
Yeah.
Gives these kids a chance to get that platform, like you were mentioning in the beginning.
Yes, yes.
Talk about the sport, the vehicle that we use to teach these kids life lessons in wrestling. So awesome, good stuff, man.
Thanks.
Thank you, man. Appreciate
And
it.
we plan on, this isn't over. I mean, we plan on asking you back at some point in the future, to uncover a new story, new objective, new whatever, So as many times as we can get you in here with some new material, you too, Justin, we'll be glad to have
Absolutely,
you.
man.
Yeah, so
100%.
thanks for coming in.
Absolutely. Thank you guys,
Thank you,
man.
man.
Thank you.
Man.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
It's been another episode of Jersey Mat Chat. Tune in for all things high school wrestling in New Jersey. Thank you. This has been another episode of New Jersey Mat Chat. If you have any interesting stories regarding high school wrestling in New Jersey or something you'd like to hear about, hit us up on Instagram or on any platform, Spotify, all that. And as long as Doug's not hitting me anymore, we'll be all right. But definitely hit us up with some stories. We'd love to have you on. This is, again, all things high school wrestling, and this is going to be a great resource for everybody. So looking forward. Check us out on social media, and we'll talk to you soon.
JoJo Fight. St. Joe's, Matt Melody, Morgan Catholic, Matt Fuller, Johnson, Howell, Santino, Demario, Frank Memorial. And 5, Sean Kenny, Christian Brothers, Logan Forgash.